Hi guys, welcome to the Design Exchange. We are on a new season and we have missed you. We have been so busy this summer and this year has flown by.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My name is Danny Russo, of course you already know, and I'm with the amazing
Melinda Peters-Elliott
from Fine Designs and Interiors. So we are so happy to be back on camera and talking to you guys. We literally ran out of time and we had a short season last year.
Yeah, we did. We were like, we have got to get back on this road because it is so much fun to do. And there's so much information to share. And I think
so
that's
much
why
going on
we're
in the
like,
industry.
we are so busy.
Yes.
You know, and
Hopefully,
I think that's odd for the industry, actually.
Hopefully you guys have been busy too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my clients have been busy with their lives going on. We've had some very interesting projects going on.
A lot of my clients are traveling a lot this year too.
Oh yeah, mine are too.
Yeah, it's been so, you know, in and out of those types of situations with them traveling and trying to meet deadlines and get things done. It's been crazy.
So what kind of projects do you got going on?
Well, we've been doing a lot of custom window treatments this year. So a lot of big windows. We have a lot of kitchen and bathroom remodels. I've done 4.
We're getting lots of calls for those.
Yeah. So, and I think it's really
Are custom draperies coming back?
Custom draperies are back
because
in a big way.
I had a client the other day telling me that she wanted a print and first she didn't want any draperies. Then all of a sudden she called and she's like, I think I want draperies again. And she's like, I think they're coming back. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think people are tired of the echoing in their houses because without window treatments, you don't have anything to help buffer sounds and things like that.
And it always softens a room.
It really does. And it's really the icing on the cake. It is the
icing
final,
on the cake.
It is. I've said that for years. It's like you can have a cake, but without the icing, I mean, this is the final. It's like the accessories in a room. You don't want to forget to do it.
Now, is this cake gluten-free, sugar-free,
it can be
vegan?
All of the above.
Okay.
It's the icing on top of that cake. So whether
like
you
what
want
kind of cake are we talking about? A buttermilk cake?
Yeah.
A cupcake?
Whatever your house is caked up with.
So if you guys are new to the show, Melinda specializes in custom window treatments, and she has a full-on workroom with a seamstress and every fabric you could possibly imagine under the sun, every window treatment you could possibly imagine under the sun.
And I've done it for 32 years. And
I wasn't going to say that,
yeah,
but I guess
actually,
I didn't want to age you.
I have won 8 international design competitions with my work, so
I was there for one, and I think one of my projects was the one, was it? One of my projects that you did, because she does all my draperies.
I can't remember.
One of my weak points is draperies, and I always defer to her on that topic.
Yep.
And that's how we work together so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to do window treatment. So any size, shape window, whatever. But yeah, we are seeing the panels and Roman shades are finally.
I've been asked for a couple of those too.
Yeah, they're still very, very popular. And blinds and, you know, everything motorized. Everything motorized. Say motorized rods for the drapes are huge right now.
When are you coming to fix mine?
Whenever you're home, and you're never home because you're working so how many
True.
hours a week?
Oh my God,
so
120.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild. So
I want to talk about
them for my house. Window treatment. So
I want to talk about the state of our industry. And it has changed a lot in the last 12 months. It's changed a lot in the last 6 months. So when the recession happened, we were kind of almost still recovering from 2008, 9, 10. And then we got hit with the pandemic and we all were frantic. We didn't know what we were going to do. And then the phones started ringing, and the phones have not stopped ringing. And we have barely been able to catch a break. All of the retailers, prices went through the roof, shortages went through the roof, and now the market for industrial goods, raw materials, has softened a lot, and things are becoming more available to us. Prices have kind of come down, but with that, we've seen, I know of two retailers that entered the top 100 list in 2002. Completely filed for bankruptcy and are liquidating as of last week.
Yeah.
And that was kind of shocking. They just entered the top 100 and now they're
What
closing and
two
going out of business.
companies was that? Are we
I want
allowed
to say it's bad. Yeah, we are. It's Badcock and More and Cons Home Plus.
Okay.
They're both out of Texas, and they were both owned by the same company.
And then we
same
have
fund.
another company from your area file earlier in the year.
Oh, they're not even filed yet, but there's some interesting stuff going on with a company called Burke Decor.
Yes.
And it's from my hometown in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's a very odd situation because they popped up on the scene, and I couldn't figure out how this retailer came to be that's in my hometown, and they're selling all of the same vendors that we carry. And it was mind-boggling to me because I would drive past it and they had this little store in this strip mall, and they had a huge online presence. They allegedly had a store in Los Angeles, but I've not been able to verify whether that actually existed.
Oh.
So then they opened an outlet in this big building, and I would go there every time I would go home and check it out, and they would just be overloaded with furniture.
Yeah.
Then I went in there this past January, and there was hardly anything on the floor. So then I started doing some research and seeing all these things, and there's a Facebook group called Burke Decor Scammed Me, and they were actually taking orders from people and not fulfilling them, and it started happening in November or December of last year. They were not issuing refunds to clients. Vendors cut them off, but as of right now, I think their website is still active and still taking orders. I've checked in with some of the vendors that they carry and checked in with some of the members of that group, and their stock is available, like of what they had, but none of the items that are on their site were allocated to these customers that had placed orders. So the owner of the company's filed bankruptcy, but it's very odd that they're still filling orders, and they were even filling designer orders. And I was a little confused as to why some designers were shopping with them, because we typically go directly to the vendor ourselves and purchase things.
Yeah.
But I had reached out to a couple of people in that group and told them that if they needed assistance with fulfilling their order, that we could help as a designer. And even one of our vendors, Curry & Company, set up a special account to take care of the customers that orders were not filled and to give them a special price.
Interesting.
Because people had to file, they've been filing a ton of reports with the Attorney General of Ohio, the U.S. Attorney General, the Better Business Bureau, but it was an interesting saga.
Yeah.
So be careful where you're buying from, because I've had in my career things that were ordered, and a store that just shut down had our products locked up in it. Thank God the vendors took care of it. But we actually vet our vendors.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you always want to know who you're buying from.
I think that I need to stop this conversation and go back to something that's super important for interior designers. So interior designers don't have a lot of places to have inventory on hand, like for people to come and like furniture, sofas, chairs, blah, 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 blah. So
we're in my warehouse right now, functioning as a studio, which we've made a lot of progress on organizing, but I feel like an interior design hoarder.
Yeah. Well, but you don't have a place for people to come in, sit down, look at furniture. But here's the thing. Online retailers are actually the ones that are getting most of the business right now. A lot of the brick and mortar stores are not. Their traffic flow is terribly off. And I think that a lot of people have always wanted to sit on that piece of furniture or whatever in the past. That's what now I'm getting more people who they just want someone to trust. They want someone they can rely on and someone who's going to fight their battles for them. So seating preferences and like how something's going to fit or whatever, we can actually make sales better now because we can explain to them like, this is the height, this is what, and people are a lot more trusting of that situation. So for us, we are selling a lot more furniture. I've
never not been, but I'm at market at least 3, if not 6 times a year. And I'm seeing the things, and in my questionnaire, I ask people how they expect things to sit. I'll go sit in their current furniture and make sure it's a match, because it is a risk to buy furniture online. But to your point, it's funny because all of these online retailers have put out the traditional brick and mortar retailers, and now these online retailers are opening their own stores. So Wayfair just opened a store in Chicago that's 2 stories. They have a higher end line called Paragold, and Paragold's owned by Wayfair. They're opening their first store in Palm Beach, Florida, later this year. And there was a third one I can't think of. Interior Define has opened a couple stores. And it's been very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
But you need a designer to be able to see through some of this furniture because I have been sent out. I have a project going on that we did with all Wayfair stuff, and nothing against Wayfair, but it came in a lot of pieces. And it came in a lot of damaged pieces.
And it's actually like you have to put it together when it gets here.
Yes, and it takes a while to put it together.
Yeah.
And then they're now no longer sending out just replacements like they used to. They're now asking you, what part are you missing? Oh, we'll send you that part out. Well, I had a brown dresser. I gave them the part number. They sent me a gray top as the replacement part.
Oh, Lordy.
I'm like, okay. I had a damaged entertainment center. They sent me the wrong part. So it's been quite the...
We had a couple things earlier in the year, you know, and basically they would just say, you know, throw it in the dumpster and get rid of it.
Donate it. They don't do that anymore. Now they want it back.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the company, I think, too. But
you'd be shocked. They're charging for returns now. Amazon's even trying to get you to keep stuff.
Yeah.
But they're wanting to charge for returns.
Yeah.
You have an X amount of time to send it back. And it's a whole process.
Yeah. The price, I want to talk about pricing because a lot of people are shocked. I'm having a lot of people having sticker shock. And I think it's because it's the people, like, as a consumer, you don't go out and buy furniture every year. We do.
Yes.
So we know that the prices of things have gone up. But if I had a customer that had not done wallpaper in 25 years. And so when I quoted her new wallpaper, she was like, oh my gosh, is the price of the wallpaper, you know, has it gone up that much? And I said, yeah, you know, this is the industry. Prices of fabrics have gone through the roof. And I'm having a real tough time explaining this to people that, you know, between $60 and $200 is now your per yard piece for custom fabric. And that is for upholstery. No, that's just for the fabric itself. So a lot of times when I'm doing an estimate, I like group together, here's the fabric, the labor and everything. I'm kind of having to stop and say, of this number that I just gave you, your fabric is coming to this much, you know, and if you don't want to purchase this kind of fabric, then we have to go back to the drawing board as to what
I've had to do a lot of educating the client, and I've had to do a lot of thinking on my own and think these people aren't used to buying furniture like we are, and when we see something that we think is affordable, to them they think it's expensive, but these are items. Like, if you think that you're going to get something cheap that's going to be comfortable and it's going to be durable, those don't exist.
No.
And if you're getting a cheap sofa, why something that you're going to be using every single day after you've worked a long day? You want to go home and sit and be comfortable.
Exactly.
Like, you're going to need to invest in that.
Yeah.
And if you go the cheap route, that's fine if it's in a room that's never used or a room that's rarely used. But with your everyday furniture, you want to invest in that.
Right.
Just like people don't think twice about going to Louis Vuitton and buying a bag that they're carrying around every day.
Right.
Like, you need to think like that for the sofa that you're going to be sitting on every day.
I tell my customers, if it's a room that you don't frequent, you know, maybe you're in there once a week or, you know, once a month even. Sometimes people just have it for looks. It's their front room and they don't ever sit in it. That's the type of place that you can put the cheaper furniture if you can find a look that you like.
Have you seen a lot of front rooms in people's homes lately?
Nope.
I haven't either.
It's kind of
And
gone by the wayside.
Even dining rooms, we've been turning into conversation rooms.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
moving everything into the kitchen space.
We had a client say the other day, I want a bourbon room. And I was like, oh, this is different.
I have one of those too.
Wine rooms or bourbon rooms, or instead of an office even. It was like, I was kind of shocked. They were like, because I thought, oh, is this your home office? She goes, no, this is our bourbon room. And I said, okay. So it was kind of fun. It was a good idea, to have a new definition of that room and what that's going to be good for their family.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. But, the prices of mirrors and lamps have gone up too, so
yes.
That's the one thing. Like I was asking Danny, what kind of product have you sold lately or you quoted lately that people are kind of giving you a little bit of trouble, like, accepting the price of that. And that was a mirror was brought up, and and that's the thing. Like we have
a lot of mirrors at every different price point.
Yeah.
But
there are mirrors that come in and the whole entire mirror finish is just got specks and dots, and it's not even a good quality.
Did I tell you about? I'm dealing with two of those. They came in two mirrors, two sizes. They came in twice, and the finish was a mess.
Oh, it's awful.
And I have them shipping again.
And
so
your
we're on our
client,
mirror 3.
For me, our clients expect it to be perfect.
Right.
So we really inspect everything really well. And if it's not perfect, it goes back. And I tell my clients, this price that you're paying and you're buying through me, I'm inspecting it and I am taking care of it. But I would say half of everything we get, we have to send back. It's almost half of everything we are getting in.
I mean, knock on wood, because
I've been terrible.
I've been fortunate.
And a lot of people say, all right, okay, well, I'll just do it myself. Okay, but I'm telling you,
a lot of people don't realize how much packaging comes in.
Oh,
getting rid of the packaging alone,
for
one thing, you can fill up an entire dumpster. The styrofoam, just all of that
cardboard
stuff
for days,
and yet it's still damaged.
Yeah, exactly. So
things come in palletized too. Like we've been seeing a lot of things come in not only in cardboard box, in styrofoam.
Yeah.
There's wood inside of the boxes now because the vendors are realizing that this is coming in damaged X amount of times. How do we reduce our damages? How do we reduce our freight costs?
Yeah.
Let's invest a little more in the packaging, and there's wood coming in. So that's why I think we're seeing a little bit less damage.
And a lot of times, so I've had this situation happen too, where I found a product, someone has found it on a different site cheaper. They don't realize that I have put into the price, me putting it together for them. So as well as that is the price of the product. So my price point looks higher if they are comparing apples to apples online. Let's say they find that exact picture of that chair somewhere else. I had this happen lately. They're like, Melinda, why are you charging this?
The dupes.
Yeah.
Do you want to cover that?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
What is a dupe?
A dupe is something that looks like something, but it's not the exact something.
But it's the same aesthetic.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? Is it ethically produced? Most likely not.
No.
Is it environmentally sustainable? Absolutely not. Is it going to be as comfortable as the original? Absolutely not.
It's just like a fake Louis Vuitton versus a real Louis Vuitton,
But with a bag, you're not sitting on it.
Right.
You're carrying it, and you can get away with that.
Well,
when you're in these kind of situations where we're doing the furniture dupes, we've already checked before we've shown our clients stuff. We've already shopped it out to find out what's cheaper, what's more valuable, what's going to last longer. And it's very important to look at the scale, because these dupes, you might be able to see them, but the dimensions can be completely off.
Oh, yeah.
And then the fabric and the textiles are going to be completely different. So I've seen some of them where you touch them and it's not something I would want to sit on.
Yeah. A lot of things that are coming from overseas, and I'm not going to say where because they're from all over. China. They will actually put fire retardant spray on it so that on the barge it's not going to catch fire. but that is cancer causing stuff.
Well, you'll see that
Be careful.
on most things. California makes it labeled, so you'll see that come in with most all products. It'll say Prop 65, I think, is the thing, and it'll say known agents, and that's it's something that's in plastic and the fire retardant that's on the thing, because it's very bizarre. We have to use textiles and materials that are fire rated, flame retardant up to a next level, but then we have to slap on this warning. But it's like, well, the government or the locality makes you use this product, and you have to say this now. So, I mean,
California codes are the most stringent in the U.S.
So more strict. I just want to make sure we're recording still.
Yeah, if it does have a California code, then we are in good shape, as far as that goes. So. Another thing that I feel like we should talk about are contractors, finding workers to do stuff. So, and a lot of my clients are coming to me because they don't know who they can trust and who's reputable and who's going to show up and who's going to give them customer service. People actually would rather pay a little bit more for a contractor who's reputable and trustworthy, then find someone to do something for them that is cheaper. They would rather pay a little bit more. And I think a lot of people have realized that there is a lot of value to that.
Oh, yeah, tons of value.
Yeah, and we have the best people. We're always trying to find, because they're actually representing our company. So we will very carefully choose those people for our clients and make sure that they're going to do an excellent job. And you can't get that just anywhere.
No. And we've heard horror stories multiple times of people that have gone out of business, taken the client's money, and the client doesn't have tile, lighting, or anything. Contractor went out of business, filed bankruptcy, and has already started a new company and moved on to somebody else.
That's right. That's right.
And it happens.
And a lot of the home builders, they will file bankruptcy because something happened, and then they'll open up with a different name of their company and start all over again. And we know that from the history of our area. We know who those people are, so we can kind of let our people know. But unless you call us, we're not going to tell you, because it's not something we're going to just go out.
The labor market seems like it's freed up a lot too, because I've had 2 jobs in the last 2 weeks where an electrician, the client called the electrician on Tuesday, and they were like, "Oh, we'll be there on Friday." And I'm like, "How is this person available?" And it was actually a very reputable company, and they actually did do really well. And when I went to meet them, they were installing sconces. They actually taught me something. They were very young, but they actually showed up. They didn't show up on time. They were a little bit late yesterday, but they showed up and they actually did the job well. Another job we were working on was a floor refinish, and the contractor was allegedly very busy, happened to be in the client's neighborhood. He's ready to start tomorrow. And I'm like, wait, something's not right. But I mean, these are separate clients. So I think you're right. Every building report that we've read, we're expecting a downturn.
It's an election year, and that happens every 4 years. It gets funky from August to November. It gets funky. Interest rates are high. So people are afraid if they're gonna have to put it on a credit card or do financing. They don't want to pay for that. Even people are not buying cars because the interest rates are so high. So that's the one thing that's happening right now. It's making everything
What's funny
soft.
Between now and 2 years ago, only because my friend works at the car dealership. I used to go to visit him at work, and there'd be no cars on the lot.
Oh yes,
and they had nothing to sell. Now the lots are full, and they're like, "Do you want a new car? Do you want a new car?" And I'm like, "I'm good right now."
I have a 4-year-old vehicle, and I usually every 4 years turn it over to a new one. But I have 0% interest. And I'm not going to take on a vehicle loan for 4, 6, or 8%. Forget that. I'd rather just keep what I have. So, and I think that is, what the consumer is thinking, and that's kind of what's driving their they're going on vacation still.
We're educating consumers as well on how
Yeah.
to use the right payment methods.
That's right.
For their projects.
That's right.
Whether it's wise to get a home equity line of credit, a home equity loan, or get a credit card that has a 0% interest rate that's same as cash for 12 months, 17 months. But we have been advising.
Financial
advisors. I know. I don't know. I don't know if we need a disclaimer that we are not financial advisors. If we are not financial advisors.
We are not marriage counselors.
We're not, because I am. I just told somebody the other day, I'm like, how did I become your marriage counselor? And they're like, I don't know, but you're good at it. And I'm like, I need one. But I mean, when it comes to that, we are marriage counselors. And one
child raising people.
One of my staff in my office is doing his senior year, and he does all my renderings. And one of the classes he has to take online this year is psychology.
Oh, really?
And I go, can I take that class for you?
Yes, I want to do it. Yeah.
And I just think it's so funny that I wonder where that goes in interior design school. Like what depth of psychology are they going
psychology,
into? Yeah, but that's not that.
I know.
I wonder. That's why I wonder what it.
Psychology. Yeah.
Color theory.
Yeah, color theory and psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you want to talk about AI and how it's changing the industry, like hugely? AI. How have you used AI lately?
Well, I actually had ChatGPT roast me last night.
Oh.
And it was quite interesting.
It roasted you.
Yes. Actually, somebody did it for me, and if you type in roast me, I've been using AI. I've been recording a lot of my meetings and phone calls, and it's been summarizing them up for me.
Nice.
Very well. We've just redone our policy and procedures handbook because we're getting super organized for the fall and winter, and we used AI for verbalization of it. Yeah. I've not dabbled in it. I had it do a couple renderings for me, and something is always not right.
Not right, yeah. It does. I did a media room presentation in basement, and I just got on AI. I'm like, I want a media room and blah, blah, blah. And it got like 20% of what I wanted. But it was still enough for me to explain it to my client. Like, this is kind of what I'm thinking without this and without that. And they kind of got that.
We're going to be going into the program that I use for AI. It's called OpenAI. And they're the ChatGPTs.
Yeah.
Apple just bought OpenAI, and they are about to release iOS 18 this fall.
Yeah.
And they're calling it Apple Intelligence.
Can't wait.
And Apple is taking it to an entirely new level.
Yeah.
So Siri's going to be responding to us differently. You'll be able to have an entire conversation with her, and she will hopefully give you better answers. They're going to be doing a lot with the Apple calculator, which sounds kind of boring.
I'm excited
but
about that.
You're going to be able to write out a problem, and it's going to solve it, and you can add more dimensions to it. So I'm interested to see the direction that we're going.
Yeah.
You cannot automate the design process, and you can't use artificial intelligence in it. However, we're working with a bunch of our different computer vendors. We're working with Apple Vision Pro, and we're getting ready to launch something with that. I can't go into too much detail about it, but when I go into projects and I can now scan a room with my camera, and it bounces back the measurements to me, and within 3 days I have the CAD rendering for that. So it's actually expedited the design process.
Yes, it has.
And I've used it for
a cost.
Yes,
I mean, you have to pay for this. It's very pricey, but it's worth it.
I wouldn't say that it's very pricey, because if we had to do it, or we had to pay somebody to do it, it would be 6 times the cost.
Well, yeah, you would think up front that, that upfront cost was like, oh, that sounds really expensive, but it really isn't when you compare, your time that would take you to redo that rendering. So I don't think that AI is ever going to replace a designer.
No, I don't think so either.
we have that
It's fun.
emotional
It's fun.
connection with people.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, the individual, you know, preferences that they
Mhm.
have. Only you and I, knowing their personality and little things that they say, can put that into their
Exactly.
design. And AI is never, ever going to be able to do that.
No,
So
but
I
it's
don't
learning.
feel,
We're going to be talking about it much more this
Yeah,
season,
sure.
and
yeah.
as it comes out, we'll be updating you on it. But anyway, you can find me now on TikTok, and I'm not sure what my TikTok is, but I think it's the real Daniel Home, possibly. But if you can find it, look me up on there. You can find me at Danny Russo on Instagram and Daniel Russo Home on Instagram
And
and
I
Facebook.
am Fine Designs INT on Instagram, and Fine Designs and Interiors on Facebook, and then I have to say that, FineDesignsAndInteriors.com.
But
my
make sure
website.
you hit subscribe and listen to the Design Change podcast.
Yes.
And we're also doing a video version that's available on YouTube right when the podcast comes out. So if you're bored and you want to watch us, feel free to. We're going to be doing a couple different things this season. One of the things that we're going to do for sure is we're going to have a Zoom call, and I'm going to use my Apple persona, which is through my Apple Vision Pro. So it's like a cartoon version of me. So when we get that up, you'll be happy to check that out.
Like
You'll like
Space
it.
Jam.
Yes. All right, guys. Happy